Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at a few really impressive Douglas fir specimens. We're in the north side of Vancouver on the north shore next to the Capilano River, which you can maybe hear roaring behind me. This area has a few really impressive Douglas fir specimens. One, I believe, is they've named the Capilano giant. We'll have a look at that in a minute, but I just wanted to start with this really large, impressive Douglas fir that has fallen and crumpled on this hillside. And you can see above, there's another very large Douglas fir up there, maybe 80 meters above our heads here. We're obviously down a slope, but really impressive. So we'll take a little bit of a closer look and you can really see what kind of impact this tree had. It would have been an impressive sight to see this one fall, but you can clearly see the bark is still on. This may have been fairly recent, meaning, you know, in the last maybe 20 years or so. I'm not exactly sure when this one fell, but it hasn't been here too long. So let's go up and take a look at where it fell from and some of the other larger ones that are still standing. All right, here we are at the top of that slope that we were just looking up, and you can see the trunk of that Douglas fir is probably about 10 or 15 meters away from the actual stump, which is right here. And it was torn off, not necessarily because of rot, but I'm thinking likely in a storm or that type of thing. Maybe it was obviously weak or weaker and shattered at the base. And you can see that drop down the slope took it quite a ways out, and the stump is probably somewhere around 1.5 meters or so wide, maybe 5-6 feet, something like that. And a really cool look at the twisting pattern of some of the wood there. Very, very interesting. And like I say, it would have been quite something to see that fall down. But we're gonna have a look here. Right beside, we have a very large fir, Douglas fir, still standing. And this one is likely 50 or 60 meters high. Obviously quite old, hard to say. In a forest like this where it's mostly surrounded by the typical cedar hemlock, this Douglas fir likely was it's been here since a disturbance of some type many years ago, maybe 500-600 years ago, something like that. This is a truly old or even ancient tree. They generally don't, as we discussed in a previous video, they generally don't germinate and grow well in this kind of shaded environment where the cedar hemlock forest has taken hold. They generally prefer open sunny spots to grow, and this one just has kind of outlasted some of the others. So really impressive. So the next one we're going to have a look at is it's the named version, and it's called the Capilano giant. So we're going to have a look at that one, and it's really impressive. All right, here we are at what's known as the Capilano giant, and it's a really impressive tree. It's probably, I'm guessing somewhere in the range of 2.5 meters diameter, maybe a little more. It's hard to say. It does have a broken top, but it's listed as 61 meters in the literature that I've seen. Now I'm not entirely sure if that was before the top broke or after. Looking up, there's it's still significantly wide tree where it is broken, so it's really hard to tell. But yeah, the just a really impressive tree here with massive bark ridges, typical of a large old growth Douglas fir. And this area was logged in the early 1900s, and for whatever reason the loggers and the timber company spared a few of these big old Douglas fir, which is great for us now. So thankfully they did that. Again, growing in your typical red cedar, hemlock forest, a lot of mosses and ferns. Dominant ferns in the area might be sword ferns. Well, these aren't sword ferns here. However, just kind of a very lush and green area in a river valley. Sees a lot of humidity, a lot of rain. This north shore of Vancouver is definitely a high rain area, high rainfall area. The mountains receive a lot of snow in the winter, which seeps into the ground and continues on underneath, feeding these trees all through some of the sometimes dry summers here. So again, really impressive specimen. Highly recommend anybody come out to see it. It's really close to Vancouver, very convenient to see, right on a main trail. So yeah, nice to see these still here. Thanks for watching, everyone.